Good morning, afternoon, and evening, wherever you are, and welcome to another Who Is from Nerd Nation. I am Cousin Cheeto, joined as always by my compatriot in arms, Zamario. How you doing?
Hi.
And we're here to talk about a green chicken spandex. Actually, we're here to talk about Contessa Valentina Allegra della Fontaine, also known as Madame Hydra or Viper in the comic books. So, Zam, I'm gonna take us down a little bit of memory lane here. I'm not gonna go too in detail because I think everybody's kind of done that to death. But Valentina Allegra de la Fontaine was a Russian secret agent from ages past, and she eventually joined Shield and had little flippets with our fair Nick Fury until then she was a sleeper agent. She became public. She became Madam Hydra. She had little in and outs with Captain America. There's a huge whole long history, and it's all kind of convoluted and comic booky. So I mean, it's a bit much. It's
I heard,
on
I
Wikipedia
heard,
pages and stuff, and I mean, yeah. She also has some dabblings with Sharon Carter, which might come into play in this show.
I heard she had an affair with Nick Fury.
She did. That's what
Yeah.
I said. She had like little
Oh, I thought
flirt,
you mentioned Captain America. I apologize.
and Captain. She flirted around with Captain America, who was dating Sharon Carter in the comic books, and so Sharon Carter got mad at her because it's as I said, it's all in the wikis and all this other. I mean, it's kind of crazy with her past, but. We're not here to. I mean, that's just a little bit of her background. We're more here to talk about her role in the MCU proper now that she has been introduced. Um, One of the things that we want to talk about is what could Madam Hydra do in the MCU. Now, I just want to point out a little tidbit here, which doesn't matter that much, but there's already been a Madam Hydra in the MCU ish, if you count Agents of Shield. The one life model, the LMD from season 4 of Agents of Shield, technically in the oh god, what is it called? The framework she was labeled as Madam Hydra. But we don't really consider Agents of Shield anymore a part of the MCU proper. So yeah, this is probably going to be the more MCU proper Madam Hydra. What do you
Well,
got?
um,
Any thoughts on that, Zam?
well, reg- like she was like a double agent, triple agent. There's variations of a good guy, bad guy versions of her. She's even been played by two different people in the comics as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's very early days. It's hard to say what she's going to be. I do know, and this is a spoiler, by the way, so be prepared. I do know that she's in Black Widow as well, and apparently people were supposed to see her in Black Widow first, and then they were going to see her in Falcon and Winter Soldier. So it's going to be working the other way around. It'll be interesting. I think more will be fleshed out from Black Widow to get a general idea of who she is. But right now, she's an enigma. She does seem like somebody who wants to fight for things and do things, but probably use these people with special abilities for her own personal needs or the needs of the people she works with. Um, will be interesting to see where we go from here. This is definitely not the last time we will be seeing her. I wonder what sort of narrative she'll play with in the MCU. Yes, she will be in the movies, in the Black Widow film. She will be in the television show as well. But overall, how much of a player will she be? That's
I
yet to be found out.
I feel like, and a lot of people have already said this, but I feel like she's going to be the female Nick Fury for either the Thunderbolts or the Dark Avengers, and we'll get more into that here in a little bit when we get into theory crafting. Zam, how do you feel about the actress playing this person? I was never a Seinfeld fan, so I didn't see much of her.
Um, I actually recognized the face, but I wasn't too aware of the actress, and I was a little bit underwhelmed. But I immediately assumed to myself, okay, she's probably more recognized in America than the rest of the world. Even though some of the shows she has been is reasonably popular, like Seinfeld, I just never got into things like that. So to see her bring a dark, menacing side, because I do see it. I mean, even though she's trying to be a bit funny, she does come across as somebody you should be wary of immediately in that scene. You know, like put your guard up. And even though Walker was given that card, he'd probably be tempted to follow through with that, and he looks like he has been because he's making that fucking shield. So yeah, I do feel this actress is going to bring something to. I mean, regardless of me being underwhelmed, I do feel that she looks like she could definitely bring something, and I can't wait for her to be menacing. I'm really looking forward to that. I wanted to see the menacing side of this character, and that's going to be very interesting. Maybe we'll see that in Black Widow. Who knows?
Maybe. So now we're moving on to the theory crafting portion of this, where we're going to talk about the Thunderbolts and where this is going to lead, because a lot of people are talking about Allegra, or I'm sorry, Val and Madam Hydra, and her having a place with the Thunderbolts. So if she is going to have involvement with the Thunderbolts, Zam, what do we think is going to happen here with the Thunderbolts? I mean, obviously you can see right there the Winter Soldier is front and center on that Thunderbolts.
God,
Cover.
they are a mix mash of everybody and anybody.
There's Baron Zemo you can see on that comic book cover there.
We are going to talk about the Dark Avengers later on, but you have to remind me which of these two factions is like the more villainous group, and which is the sort of like anti-hero group.
Okay, well, first off, they're both villainous. The Dark Avengers and the Thunderbolts both have villains. And why is Harley Quinn on that?
Yeah, I just saw that too. That's definitely Harley Quinn. Yeah, what the fuck was that all about?
I mean, like you have there's definitely two different, like, okay, so their Thunderbolts are like the Suicide Squad. Like they are the villains that are being employed by the government. And then you have the Dark Avengers, which is a bunch of villains trying to play as good guys. So if we're talking about the Thunderbolts, we're talking about the villains employed by the government to do.
Well, I look at somebody like John Walker, who I look at a guy who doesn't look at himself as the bad guy, who looks at himself as part of the good guys. I mean, do you think he would ever want to associate himself with villains?
No, I honestly I was gonna get to that a little bit later, but I feel like that's why I felt like Val or Madam Hydra, whatever you want to call her, came to Walker, and then Zemo is on his way to the Raft, which I think is going to play into Thunder, because that's where Thunderbolt Ross is. He is at the Raft. So is Abomination, and so is other villains.
Interesting. So whoever goes to the Raft is Thunderbolt. So there's Zemo there right now. Yep. He's definitely going to be a Thunderbolt, in my opinion. Probably the leader of them. And it's going to be very interesting because he hasn't got superpowers, and he'll be working alongside people with superpowers, probably people he probably detests.
Well, and then here's the other thing is, you have Absorbing Man, who has been in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and I know that's loose canon, but there has been Absorbing Man in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so could they bring that actor back to play Absorbing Man again? There's also, I'm trying to think of MCU proper people right now who could be an Abomination.
Just stick with him for a second, because how the hell are you going to put a leash on Abomination? And how's this guy who is still a military man, would want to take orders from fucking Baron Zemo? As far as he's concerned, a dirty commie. Actually, I apologize. Abomination's British. But the character Tim Roth plays even though he's a British actor, he plays a British character. That character, I believe. So yeah, it won't matter regardless of the fact. But the point is, it'll be interesting to see how you put a leash on him, and they'll probably have to put a bomb in his neck, Suicide Squad style. Who knows?
Either that or I think Thunderbolt Ross will promise him a cure from the Abomination.
Yeah, but Abomination doesn't want a cure, does he? He wanted to be that.
No, huh? he wanted to be strong. He didn't want to be that.
Fair enough.
As far as I know, as I said, there's a lot more that we could dive into.
Because Baron Zemo will play ball if it means to a degree. He'll try to work his own games, and he'll try to, because he's a long con artist, he'll figure out a way of doing his own things.
Now we're going to move on to the Dark Avengers, which is what I think Val is going for. Because what I think is going to happen here is I think that Ross is going to be recruiting for the Thunderbolts, and Val is going to be recruiting for the Dark Avengers. Because you're going to have several, and as you can see kind of in the comic books here with the Dark Avengers, you've got several versions of the Avengers, which, like right here, you've got a version of Spider-Man, you got a version of Ares, Norman Osborn is the Iron Patriot. You've got a version of Captain Marvel. but you also need a version in the MCU of Captain America. Well, Val approached Captain America, the version of Captain America that'll probably be in the Dark Avengers, as well as if Val is in Black Widow. Guess what? I'm pretty sure she's gonna, if she approaches Elena Belova or whatever her name is, I'm pretty sure she's gonna approach her to be her version of Black Widow for her Dark Avengers. So I really feel like what they're building towards is more of a Thunderbolts versus Dark Avengers. And I don't know if it's going to be a movie or a Disney Plus series, but I really feel like that's where they're leaning towards. Zam, what
Do
are
you
your
think?
thoughts?
Do you think each of those factions will get their own movie first to establish them, or will we see them initially just join the faction and then we have a Dark Avengers and we have them all together because they've all had their moments in the sun in other projects?
I feel
So
like that they're going to do a Thunderbolts Disney Plus Disney Plus show, and the villains of that are going to be the Dark Avengers. And also that version of Hawkeye that you're seeing in all the images, that
yeah.
is Bullseye.
Oh, awesome!
So
I've
that's
always
what
wanted, I've always wanted to see them two go up against each other.
So that's what I'm saying. Like there is, and that's actually that blonde right there in that picture is Helena Belova. She's the version of Black Widow. So
Yeah, yeah.
there's a lot of, as I said, there's a lot
Luke Cage there as well.
Yep. I
Yeah.
don't know if that's actually, and look, hey, actually look, there's I think that's U.S. Agent right there actually as it is.
Is that
Um,
Thor or is that somebody another Asgardian?
I think it's not Thor. I think it's somebody else. Um,
Is he holding Mjolnir though?
no,
Or
that's not
okay.
Mjolnir. But yeah, I mean, like, that's how I feel this is leading. Like, I feel like Val is going to be building her Dark Avengers, and I feel like Ross is going to be building his Thunderbolts. And then what's going to happen is the Dark Avengers are going to come out, and Ross is going to be like, oh, hell no. And then Ross is going to unleash the Thunderbolts on the Dark Avengers. Now, I don't know if this is going to be a movie or a TV show. I'm assuming that the Thunderbolts is going to be a Disney Plus show. But maybe Dark Avengers is going to be a movie.
I mean, it all depends on what they want to rest their money on. I mean, if some of these villains become popular because they really do have a problem with popular villains in the MCU, if they can make them popular and learn not to kill them off at the same time, and give them wins, because these guys need wins. More of our bad guys need to win in the MCU. Then yeah, these things can be credible. But um, oh god, there's just so much. I mean, like something like this feels like it could be years away.
And
You
it might
know,
be. You never
five,
know.
6 years away. You know, because one thing I give Marvel, they like to do their groundwork.
Yeah.
They really do. My only concern is a bit. I don't want this to go to where the CW. Sometimes you can get very overwhelmed. There's so much shit being thrown at you, you can't keep up with it all. So as long as we get everything in a decent amount, I'll be fine with that. Yeah. But just don't overwhelm me. That's the only thing that concerns me. I don't want to be overwhelmed. Like, I'm very happy. You can see the groundwork already for the Young Avengers currently in the MCU. So many Young Avengers have already been displayed, and that's been from like maybe phase 2 and 3. Like the early seeds of them as children. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to all of this. I just don't want to be overwhelmed. That's the only thing that scares me. I stopped watching the CW programs because there was just too much of it, too many shows, and too many shows and too many episodes of those shows. And so just don't overwhelm me. I'll be fine.
Okay. Well, with all that being said, Zam, thank you very much for joining me. I'm glad we had this talk about Val and the possible future that she has in the MCU.
Yeah, me too. I'm very much looking forward to more. I can't wait for the next episode. And even then, after the episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier, God knows how long we'll have to wait to see any result from that. Because I do believe we're not going to see much resolution from Falcon and Winter Soldier in shows like Loki, for instance. So, if any,
All right. Well, with all that being said, we'll catch you guys in the next one. Catch you later.
bye.